Hey everybody. Um, Today is February, I believe it's the 9th, 2023. And I kind of want to zoom out and do a kind of talk about what on earth is really going on here, right? Like over the past few years and where we are right now and what we can take from that, what it's really all about, and kind of where to focus our mindset so we can see it from the bigger perspective, right? So everyone knows the past few years with the pandemic and the upheaval in every kind of way that has gone on. And, it's been a time of intense suffering and difficulty for everybody, really, on some level. So, in order to understand what's happening, it's kind of twofold. Like, you can look at just what is Earth all about? Why are we here, right? Why are we even here? And the answer to that can be found all over the place. Earth is a school. It's a learning tool, a learning device. It's why we're told we are children of the Most High, right? We are children. We're all children. We're babies. We're here learning. We're learning what's good, what is bad, what we like, what we don't like, what we want, what we don't want. It's a comparison. It's good versus evil. And all these things are meant to show you that you have a choice how you live. And how do you choose? What do you choose, right? Even the name of the galaxy, it's the Milky Way galaxy, right? Which is milk, right? It's for babies. It's for children when they're growing, when they're learning. And this is who we are. We're babies. Learning to grow up and choosing who we want to become. Right? How we want to be. What we want for our future. So everything in this world is teaching us that the consequences of our choices, right? If you choose this route, these are the things that happen. It's a cause and effect. The whole system is a cause and effect. It's a reap what you sow. And it's a learning tool. And so we're being taught. And because we're children. We're children. And the only way to teach a child is through their own experience, right? So we are getting the opportunity to experience all these things, to shape us, to grow us into a higher form, really, where we reject false concepts and destructive forces and reach toward the creative sources, the higher things. The Bible talks about keeping your mindset on the higher things. In every decision, every minute throughout your day, you're being served up choices and opportunities to see what happens, whether you choose love or whether you choose fear. What does fear bring you? What does love bring you? And everything is that choice. So, and that's on an individual basis, right? That's what we're here doing. We're children growing up and learning at school. We're in a school. Jesus said, I set before you a choice, life or death. Choose life. So these are our choices, right? What do we want to experience? People don't realize that they are choosing that in every decision they make. Every time you address someone else, every time you choose to give forgiveness and mercy over holding grudges and being spiteful. All of these things, everything is a decision and a choice that you're making to see the consequences of that and decide what you want. And thereby deciding who you are. So that's what's happening individually. But it's also happening globally, in the macro. We are getting to decide by looking at all the lies, all the corruption, all the false perceptions, all the corrupt structures that have been in this world. Do we want to continue in that? Or do we want to rise above that? And those are the choices that we're being given globally. What kind of world do we want to live in? And so the Bible says this world is passing away, which means that the lies of the world, the corruption, the destruction, the division, those things are going to go away. And the way you know they're going away is they're being revealed to everyone. Everyone is having to say and acknowledge our governments are corrupt. And it goes all the way down from that to we have been corrupt. One by one, individual. So the whole, from a bigger perspective, the whole pandemic situation where everyone was masked and isolated and shut down, basically in your own, we're all separated, right? And the role that plays allows us to look at our own individual actions, our own individual past, our own individual choices and decisions, and in that way it is judgment, right? And when we're together collectively, all of these spiritual energies intermingle, and that is the joint creative force that creates everything, right? But we were put in our own little bubble to deal with our own shit, basically. Because everyone has to do it on an individual level in order to make the whole place better. You can't just say, when the government gets straightened out, things will be great. When all these things have to begin in your own heart. And so, there's a lot that can be said about the pandemic, about what's real and what was more of like black magic rituals, right? But nonetheless, no matter what evil is at play, we're in the place of good and evil, so let's acknowledge it is there. But the Father uses all of that. He uses what the enemy meant to harm you in order to help you. And the same way that in Job, Satan had to be given permission, right? So you can look at it from that perspective. This is a Job time frame. We are all Job. And the Father has given Satan permission to sift us like wheat, right? And that's the refining period. That is becoming becoming the pure reflection of our Heavenly Father, of His goodness, of His love, of His mercy. So that is the point of it. No matter how the corrupt structures in the world are using it or have used it to enrich themselves and all those other things, they were given permission to carry this out because this is the end of the age. Because this world, with its lies and fakery and all of the negatives, is passing away. So we have to be ready to step into the new world. We have to be refined to walk with God, right? Can't walk with pure, unconditional love unless you can become that. And so there have been ages and ages and generations of evil perpetrated here. And right now, this generation is the same as in the time of Jesus. It's time for things to change. And it cannot change unless it changes on an individual level. So that is bringing heaven to earth, on earth as it is in heaven. And this is the creation of the new heaven and the new earth. And even though to me, in the past few years, it certainly has not felt like it, but it is quite the honor to still be here and be given that task, to play a role in that. And I've taken it kind of as a curse because it's not easy to look at the past. It isn't easy to acknowledge all your faults, all your wrongs. But it has to be done, because if we don't acknowledge it, we're doomed to repeat it. And that's over. It can't be repeated. We can't keep going down that road, or there will be no world left. But we know that's not how it ends. That's not how it ends, even if it seems that way. And it has seemed that way to me a lot. But I know that this is all for a purpose. And not just any purpose, but for the ultimate purpose. So regardless of all the things we can point to, the groups, the characters involved, the biggest view of this, the highest perspective of this, is that this is a grand play, a symphony in which we're all playing a part of redeeming this earth. We're all playing our own part. So we're actors in a play. And if you can follow the Spirit, you'll be given the part you're to play. And you'll know that when you know it. But you have a part, or you wouldn't be here. You just wouldn't be here. And no one can do your job but you. That's why you were chosen to be here now. And you have to really step back and say, not only was I chosen to be here now, but I must have been pretty dang brave to sign up for it. Because this is a time like there never has been before and never will be again. And you're here for it. And I'm here for it. And that is your worthiness, right? I've battled against these ideas, these gifts, because of just the spirit of unworthiness that I've carried with me since I was a little girl. But that's been part of my lesson. I wouldn't be here if I weren't worthy of this job. And so you may have a job out in the world. You may have a role in your family. And you may have all these things in the world. But you have a bigger purpose. You have a bigger role that you're playing, whether you know it or not. Because things are changing. And unfortunately, because of so many corrupt, false ideas that have been built in this world, those things have to come down. The lies have to fall so the truth can shine. And that is where we're going. And a year ago, you could not have convinced me of that, because I thought we were all going to hell in a handbasket. But I was wrong. I let the spirit of confusion and unworthiness take me down from where God was trying to place me, where He's trying to place you as His advocate, as His voice box, as His heart. This is what's happening in our world. We're no longer going to be babies here in the Milky Way. We're moving on. We're moving up to solid food, to the meat. And you get to come along if you choose to. If you choose to. It's a choice. If you can be humble enough to let the Spirit teach you. True humility, understanding you're not running the show, that the Father is, that there is a much, much, much bigger, much, much, much better plan than you could ever come up with. And to operate in not false humility, but in meekness and a willingness to hear the voice of God instruct you and teach you and better you. And that's where we all have to go. The meek will inherit the earth. This is what it means. We have to humble ourselves and our ideas of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. and allow our Creator, who is pure love, to create the world through us. It's the only way forward. We're not going backwards. There's no way to go backwards. So I hope that helps. This is how I see it. This is what the Father's shown me, explained to me, reassured me with. He's building, right? You can even see that reflected in, say, politics, right? Like, there was a time of devolution, a few years ago with the pandemic and all of that. And now it's a building season to repair the damage. And I'm not endorsing any political side because, look, it's two wings of the same bird. The left wing and the right wing is the same bird. But those are the cycles. And that is what's happened. It was a tearing down. But we're in a time and a season of rebuilding. So get on board with that. Get on board with that. If you want to rebuild in truth, in strength, in the love and mercy of our Father, get on board with that and allow Him to build you. And if you will allow it, it will come to you so quickly. Get out of your own way, in other words. And I'm talking about me. I have spent 2 years trying to get out of my own way. And I'm just now getting it. But now that I'm getting it, I see more and more and more. There's more hope. There's more joy. There's more peace. There's more love. People have used the analogy a lot over the past few years of there are two trains, right? You're going to get on the train to destruction, or you're going to get on the train to love and harmony and unity with all of God's children. All of God's children. We have to let bygones be bygones. We really have no idea the forces that have been at play here. And in that way, you're not to blame, but you have to see it so you can stop allowing it to influence you. And there are many of them, about powers and principalities, right? So it's always a dichotomy here. It's a bipolar world, right? But you have to get up off your knees to the world. Stop bowing to the world. Stand up. Rise above it. And also bow your knee to the beautiful will of our Father. It's twofold. Everything is two here. It just is. And it takes what it takes, right? But God wins. God wins. Like, He can't, how could He lose? How can He fail when He's everything? Just wrap your mind around it. Let that consume you. Who can be, if God is for you, who can be against you? And I want to tell you today, God is for you. Unequivocally. 100%. All the way in your corner. Your biggest cheerleader. And He doesn't want you to forget it, no matter what the world shows you. It's an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's not real. He's the only thing that's real. And He is love. And He is light. And in Him there is no shadow. So we're walking out of the valley of the shadow of death. Because in the Father there is no shadow. And there is no death. There is only life eternal. And He wants you to know it. And He wants you to be with Him. So I love you guys. I hope this helps somebody. It's the ultimate truth as far as I've been shown. And it's not meant to excuse all of the suffering and the pain and the evil at all. But it is to say that there is a bigger purpose. There is a bigger plan. And that's to prosper you, not to harm you. And you can take that to the bank. Because I shouldn't be here today after what I've been through. And I'm only here for one reason. Because the Father purposed it so. And no one can go against Him. No one. Not Satan. Not any evil power. No one can stand against the Father. Because He's literally made of the substance that is the most powerful thing that ever existed, which is love. And there is no kind of evil or hatred or destruction that can ever overcome that. These three things remain, right? Faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. And today, I know that to be true with all my heart. When all the lies come down, when they all fall down, what remains is faith, hope, and love. And that's the truth on which we stand. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.